Welcome. In this video we're going to be taking a look at another boss fight. It's clearing dailies for stage 10. In this one we're going to be focusing on Proto-T3 and the various aspects of the dailies that he's going to have. These are just pre-recorded videos that I did so I could put them together so I could just explain them without having to waste a lot of time on just the actual gameplay itself, as that is pretty straightforward, and if you can clear it on stage 10 then you understand the mechanics of how to do it, so focusing on that part of the actual boss fight is pointless. So for this one we'll take a look. This video is just going to be about Proto-T3 for this one. Some of the unique things for here is going to be you're going to need to run 2 healers. That's going to be a requirement. Sometimes for Proto-T3 it's going to be, hey, you need to run 2 healers. The clear 60 turns and all must survive is common to all of the different boss dailies, so you can get those on any of them. The running with at least 2 healers though is unique more to the Proto-T3 so far. So on this one's pretty straightforward. Clear within 60 turns, all must survive, 2 healers. This makes it really easy, even though with 2 healers, because you can go with a support Elune, like a way for the attack buff, and then just 2 nukers, and as long as your healers do good damage too, then you're going to be able to do this one pretty quick. So this one is a pretty straightforward, easy one to do for these, if these are the options you get. So for me here, I went 2 healers. On this one I did Freya and Elune, but you could also use Elune instead as a healer, as she does do damage and heals at the same time with her normal skills, so she's a good one to use. This one, just basically going Chloe for the chance to CC, and then of course the Caroline just for the nuke. It's pretty straightforward. You should be able to do this one pretty quick, as long as you don't die to the boss on the first AoE. If you miss the stun from the Chloe after that, once you get it paralyzed, you should be able to nuke it down really quick. The Elune can help, even though she is a healer. She can be helpful just because of her sleep with a Chloe, because a Chloe does single hit damage, and the sleep adds, if they're asleep when you attack, then it's 50% extra damage. So the Elune can sleep the target, and then the Chloe can nuke with her skill 3 or skill 2 and do 50% more damage, so she's already doing high damage, so she would just do even more. The Caroline doesn't get that effect, because the Caroline is multi-hit, so only the first hit does the 50% increased damage, and all the subsequent hits are just the normal damage anyway. So she doesn't get that massive boost to damage that a single hit would be, which is what the Chloe does. So let's go take a look at one of the other ones. See, this one is going to be again 2 healers. This is another unique. The next one is another unique aspect to the Proto-T3, which is clear without debuffers. So clearing without debuffers, usually not a problem. Most of the time you're not going to be bringing debuffers in here anyway. You're just going to be bringing nukers. So that one is usually an easy requirement to make. Now, if you don't have good DPSs or something, and some of your main damage dealers are debuffers, it's not hard to bring in pretty much any DPS that you want. You should be using Chloe Van anyway, so that's going to be one of your DPS, and then just any other DPS you want to use, and you just focus on the Chloe for your main nukes. So for this one, let's just go ahead and we'll skip into it just to kind of show you. Again, for this one I'm using Freya and Elune, but you could use Elune instead if you wanted to, as she would be just as well. This one is a pretty straightforward fight though. As you can see, it's just going down really quick just from the nuking from the Caroline and the Chloe. So because of the way buff, it's very easy to do this. So this is a very easy one to do. The no debuffer requirement is just, when I see that for this one, it's like, woohoo, good and easy, quick one. So let's move on to the next one. The next one here, this is going to be same gender, no debuffers, all must survive. Again, this is very easy. The last team that I just used was an all-female team, so it can easily just be used again for this one. Again, no debuffers, so this is just really easy to do. So just skipping into it, as you can see, it's the same team that I used on the other one. Still doing it, still meeting all the requirements, same team. So this, like for me, I could just keep this as a preset team. just because this one would be useful many times for many stages, as it provides a lot of stuff. It provides CC, high damage, heals, and support. So it's a good team to use anyway. So let's just go ahead and skip this one. This one, let's see, the next one, this was going to be clear within 60 turns, same gender, no debuffers. Again, very easy to do, very straightforward. It's just basically full nuke. I could use the same team again, as you can see, same team, just different order, but same team again. Very easy to do. Still meeting all the requirements. It's going to be easily done within 60 turns because I'm just going for a full nuke on it anyway. So nuking down the boss, focusing on the boss, that's fine. Killing the ad you can do. It's, I mean, if just to avoid that extra DPS loss from the debuff, that's fine. But mainly you want to focus with your DPSs. You want to focus on the boss with them to kill it quick. You can use your support and healers to kill the ad, as it's not very tanky. So for this one, again, very straightforward, very easy to do. Same team for 3 different ways now to clear this boss. This one, again, no debuffers, 2 healers, same gender. As you can see, the other team that I made still works for this one too. That's why Proto-T3 is one of the easiest bosses to clear as a daily, because you can use basically one team and clear multiple different daily quests with it and requirements, because it's just such an easy one to do. So as you can see, it's just go through. Now in this one I used different healers, just to go different DPS, different healers, kind of to show that you can do this with a different team. So for this one, no debuffers, 2 healers, same gender. So in this one I'm using the Spring and Wa as a healer. She does 2 heals. I'm using Elune as a healer. It's again pretty easy to obtain. Spring and Wa is rare. Elune is a epic, very easy to obtain. Of course I have the Chloe in here, easy to obtain, epic type thing. You should be able to get one. And then I'm just running another DPS, another epic DPS, and then the Weiwei is free just from doing quests. So this team is pretty friendly to most people, as it doesn't have, the only legendary on it is a Weiwei, and the Weiwei is a free one that you get from the game. So this one, since there's no turn limit to doing this one, your main damage dealer again is still going to be your Chloe here. But of course, you can bring another DPS thing too. Since you're not going to bring a debuffer, you can just bring in any other female DPS to whittle it down with. So in this case, I think I just brought the Heiress in here to help do damage, just because there was no turn limit. So I can use the second skill, the special skill, and then go into the first skill 3 times. That takes 4 turns away. So if you're on a 60 turn requirement, you don't necessarily want to use the Heiress if you're on a 60 turn requirement. But if this one doesn't have that requirement, then I can use it, because I'm going to take 4 turns, but I'll do a lot of damage to the boss with it. So as you can see though, with this one, even going through it at the end, I'm still killing the boss. So if you see right here, right before the last hit on the boss to kill it, even with his team, I'm still doing it on like 34 turns. And it's just, the only damage source here that I have is the Chloe Van, which wasn't even on level 80 gear. The Heiress isn't on level 80 gear, so they're just on basically straight up DPS sets. So this team is a very free to play, friendly team, very easy to obtain. You can get these, you don't need to have them max transcended out. It helps with damage, but it's not a requirement. But it's just a team that you can use for doing good damage to kill bosses down, that can meet a lot of the requirements that you're going to need. So I did this one just as an example of being able to accomplish these 3 tasks with an easy team. But even if it was a different requirement than the 3 that are here, say it was a 60 turn requirement, this team, as you can see, still was easily doing it within 60 turns, as it's going to take me 34 turns roughly to finish out this boss. Easily, gives me a nice 26 turn cushion essentially to finish this boss in 60 turns. And that's with this team, which is no legendary or high DPS type Elunes. So something to keep in mind. A lot of these bosses are pretty easy, especially these first two. Mainly this one, it's very easy to do with a very easy team. So if you're doing stage 10 anyway, just for your clears to get your gear and to the chance to get the level 80 gear, then these teams are very friendly to people to be able to make, as you should be able to have or make most of these Elunes already. A lot of them you should have already. The Weiwei you should have already. The Chloe you should have already. The Eun you should have already. The Eris you should have because she's very useful in PvP too. Spring Wall might be the only one that you don't have, but you should make her because she's a very useful healer. She heals, she shields, well, provides a debuff, anti-weaken type effect debuff, and then she also has a revive too, so she can revive as well as do massive heal with it as well. So she's very useful as a healer, so she's good to have with you anyway as a female healer. So again, most of these, if you notice, they're pretty easy. You should be able to meet the requirements of these with basically one team, so we won't continue into these. The Proto-T3 one is probably one of the easiest bosses to clear all the dailies on, so you should be able to do that just with your normal team that you would use to clear stage 10 of Proto anyway. You should be able to just do it with the same team, do all these at the same time, and when you do the last, if you do all three of them, you get the bottom claim option in that one. When you do that one, it gives you another 2 chances or a couple of chances at getting a level 80 gear. So that way you have more chances. You have the chance to obtain it from doing the level stage 10 clear anyway, but then you also have another chance to get it from doing the daily quest here. So that's 2 chances to get that gear. So if you can't do the stage 11 this way, it gives you 2 chances just by doing the boss once a day anyway. So that's going to be it for the Proto-T3 one. We'll go over some of the other bosses in other videos. Thank you.